Alright, good morning. Hope this video finds everyone well and doing as well as they can. Greetings, as I've said before, from my bunker during the apocalypse. Some things we want to get started with. As I said on my last video, I'm new to all this. Like I said, I've made some drawing videos. I have some experience. What I'm not real great with is the editing piece yet, so maybe these will improve the longer we're out. So first thing I want to talk about is some ways to get a hold of me. So many of you already know this because it's been in my syllabus. A lot of you have already used it. This is my P12 email. This email is best if you want to turn in missing work. This is another time for me to stress that I cannot give you credit for anything I assign via this channel or via any other means. It's enrichment only. What does that mean exactly? Well, you can do it. I can give you feedback on it. I can tell you how you did, but I cannot enter a grade for it. I'm in the process right now of grading everything that I had before we left, and I'll be entering everything that you've turned into me, physically or digitally, to the grade book, but I can't give you anything new for a grade. But I can give you plenty of new content just for enrichment. So, yeah, take that for what it is. But anyway, this is how you share documents if you're going to use Google Docs. Google Docs is really the best way for me to look at your work and give you feedback on it, because I can comment on it in real time. We can almost have like a conversation over a paper. So this is what you'd use. This email is what you'll use if you want to get a hold of me and do work and collaborate on a document. So this will be really important for AP seminar kids as you start to write your individual written arguments. Remember, strictly speaking, I'm not supposed to give you specific feedback, but I can give you general feedback on concessions and refutations and evidence and things of that nature. This email here, this is the one I check. Well, this is the school email I check most frequently. It's for information. You might want to provide it to your parents if they want to get a hold of me. That's information. If you share a document with this, I've got to request permission. And as I've said before, I'm like a little dog at the sliding glass door. I'm tapping, trying to get in. I can't get in. I can't look at your work if you share it that way. But this is just general contact. You can also contact me this way. I really wish they would just pick one. I prefer this one over this one because there's more functionality. But that's where we are. My teacher Twitter is at Dycus11. That's where I'll post updates about upcoming videos and things of that nature. Just good, clean, education-related content on that Twitter feed. Many of you know of my other Twitter feed. You found me out there, like you found me at the grocery store. That Twitter, but this is teacher Twitter. My personal Twitter, we're really not supposed to interact with school business there, but every now and again we bump into each other out there, and we treat that like I ran into you at the grocery store. We exchange pleasantries and then we move on. This is the official school sanctioned Twitter, at least as far as I know. All right, so you can call my classroom number and I can check voicemail. It's not real great. It's kind of clumsy. I'll do my best with this, and then I can call you back from my phone, *67, so you don't get my actual phone number. A few of you weasels out there actually have my number. How you got it, it's kind of a long story, but if you do have my personal number, be cool with that. Don't be giving that out to people. I really wish you'd lose it, but you're not going to lose it. You're going to hand it down like a priceless family heirloom. All right, remind. Some of you really wish you probably paid attention to this. All right, so you're gonna these are the codes for the classes. Many of you have already joined it, but if you haven't, it's not too late. Remind is great because it's just like texting. This is the code for AP Lit. That's the code for AP Seminar. That's the code for Advanced Drama, and that's the code for Drama. I plan on making content for all my classes, and it'll be tougher to do it for Drama and Drama 1. AP Lit and AP Seminar definitely lend itself more to this kind of platform, but I'll try to have some content for Advanced Drama and Drama 1. So yeah, that's contact. That's how you can get a hold of me. I might try doing some live stuff, but we'll see. Some other things that we want to talk about is what I'll talk about in these videos and what I won't talk about in these videos. That's my debt clearing move. So what I plan on doing are just mini lessons. You're not going to have 85-minute videos every day of me teaching. I don't watch 85-minute videos. In fact, when I'm on YouTube and if I see that video is over like 12 minutes and it's something I'm trying to learn how to do, I usually try to find a shorter video. So I'm going to try to keep it brief. Brief. I'm going to try and keep these to 10 to 15 minutes. And my goal is to try and do one every day, just so you know I'm out there and I'm still your teacher. They're still paying me. They still expect me to interact with you in some way. You interact with me in some way. As I said, this isn't about grades anymore, guys. This is about learning. You guys have a right to an education. I've been saying that you have a right to an education whether you want it or not. Well, you have a right to an education. I'm here. I've got some pretty good tools to get content to you. And now it's just about, do you want to learn? Do you want to learn about AP Lit? Do you want to learn about Macbeth? Do you want to learn about argumentation? Do you really want to learn about how to be a better actor and things actors do? Not for a grade, not because you'll pass or get into college, but do you want to know about these things? But more importantly, do you want to know about them from me? So that's the disclaimer. I'm gonna keep it to education-related content. Keep it to my classes. I'm kind of a stream of consciousness kind of guy, so I might some weird things might leak in here, like they do in class. But I'm not gonna give you any. This isn't a news channel. I'm not gonna update you on things. You got Twitter for that. You got the media for that. We're gonna try and keep it light here. You might hear me make the occasional "all right" live from the apocalypse, and here we are. And now the apocalypse is no reason not to use MLA citation. Let's keep our citations consistent. With the world ending, let's be consistent with our citations. So you might hear some dark humor. I have dark humor. That's kind of how I deal with it because we're in scary times. All right, so that's the nuts and bolts. So we're gonna minimize that, and we're gonna kind of pick it up with Macbeth, and we're gonna talk about the soliloquy assignment. So we're gonna bring that up, and then this was the soliloquy assignment. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, so you scroll down, and the last one we looked at was soliloquy 4. I mistakenly said that was after the banquet. Actually, it wasn't. That was after Banquo looked at Macbeth and said, "Hey, looks like everything worked out for you, huh? Does that mean things are going to work out for me?" And that is when Macbeth launched into this. He launched into this. So we're bringing that up. That's when he said this. So you remember, this is all the work we did on it. So after Banquo said, yeah, looks like everything's coming true for you. And then Macbeth launched into, to be thus is nothing. Yeah, that's right. So just to kind of catch everybody up, spoiler alert, if you're following along in Macbeth, if you're at Act 3, Scene 1, Duncan's dead. They killed him. That's Macbeth killed him and pinned it on his servants. And now Macbeth is thinking about what he's got to do. He's thinking about what he's got to do. So we have to we look at the activity. We look at what's required. We if you're writing about these, we're on soliloquy today. We're going to be looking at soliloquy 5, and I'll be peppering in some advice for my advanced acting class, which was also studying acting at this time. And so anyway, we're going to look at soliloquy 5. There's lots of places you can find copies of the play. If you go to Google, you can actually find a full PDF of the play. In fact, you can find this really cool no fear script. And so you've got the original text, you've got the modern text side by side. Lots of free ways to access the play. There's also, as I've said, there's some really great film versions of it out there. But the film versions get a little confusing because you're like, why is Macbeth dressed like a Russian soldier? What's going on here? But once you get past that, the 2010 Patrick Stewart version, that's Jean-Luc Picard for all you Star Trek nerds, is quite good. It's quite good. And Patrick Stewart is just Sir Patrick Stewart is an amazing actor. So anyway, we're going to scroll down. We can scroll down because we're looking at which one are we going to look at again? We're going to look at we're going to look at number 5, Act 4, Scene 1. That's what we're going to look at today. So the first thing we want to look at is the actual scene that it's from. So we're going to go to Act 4, Scene 1. Now I should have had all this together before I started this video, but I'm new. I'm new at this, and this video is probably going to take longer than I wanted it to because we had some nuts and bolts at the top. If you're in Diggins AP Lit class, you are also welcome here. Actually, anybody that happens to find this, you are welcome to come here, and we're going to learn about Shakespeare, how to mark it up, how to analyze it, and then eventually we'll be doing some content on how to write about it. So we're getting to Act 4. Oh my God. All right. So anyway, Act 4, Scene 1, you've got one of the most famous lines, double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. This is one of the most famous lines, in Shakespeare. Is there a way to make that bigger? There's got to be a way to make this fit to page. Should I click on it? I don't know. Nope, that made it worse. Oh, hey, that's better. That is so much better. There we go. All right, like I said, I'm learning. I am learning about all this. But better, right? You can kind of see what's going on. All right, many people feel that that Hecate here was not written by Shakespeare because notice that it rhymes. There are many Shakespearean scholars that think that this scene was not written by Shakespeare. This is the only scene that Hecate is in. And so many people feel that this was added after the fact. All right, so so here's what happens. Things are going weird for Macbeth, and he's wondering what he's got to do. He ends up sending murderers to whack Banquo. Spoiler alert, Banquo gets whacked. But Fleance is Banquo's son, he gets away. So Macbeth needs advice. Where does Macbeth go? Well, he goes back to the witches, of course. And here he is, Act 4, Scene 1. How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is it you do? They answer, a deed without a name. I conjure you by that which you profess. However, so remember, that's an elision. So we're going to remember, kids, that is an elision. So if I misspell anything, you'll probably point it out. You could point it out to me on Twitter at Dycus11 if I blow it with the spelling. So I conjure you by that which you profess, however you come to know it. Answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope, their heads do their foundations, though the treasure of nature's Germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you. So a big trope, a big common trope in Shakespeare's plays is that in the tragedies, nature is out of joint. So he's describing, in this particular speech, he is describing nature is out of whack. So that is that's a big thing to look for in any of Shakespeare's tragedies. The protagonist will do something, and then the natural world, the natural order will be shifted. And then you'll notice over here, so you've got the original text, and then you've got the no fear on the side. I don't know how you know the things you do, but I insist that you answer my questions. I command you in the name of whatever dark powers you serve. I don't care if you unleash violent winds that tear down churches, make the foamy waves overwhelm ships. Basically, I don't want to care. Tell me what I want to know, witches. So that's the translation. But I think that's cheating. I've got it side by side to help you out. But anyway, we're going to get down to that. We're going to get down to that soliloquy. So he's come to see the witches because Macbeth is freaked. So here we go. Here we go. So we're going to go to right here. So Act 4, Scene 1. This is the soliloquy. Can we do the thing where we Hey, that's bigger. We can do that over here. All right, so this is the one we're going to look at. And he talks to the witches, and he's shown apparitions. He's shown apparitions. And the witches tell him what's going to go on, so he's given apparitions. Tell me, thou unknown power. He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not. First apparition, an armed head. Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me, enough. So, Macduff is a threat. Alright, he's a threat. Whatever thou art, for thy good caution thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright, but one word more. Whatever you are, thanks for your advice. You have guessed exactly what I feared. So Macbeth knew that Macduff was going to gun for him. He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first. Second apparition, a bloody child. Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee. Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth. All right. Keep that. You'll need it later. That's important. None of woman born. So he's shown Macbeth and says, beware he's shown Macduff. Beware Macduff. Beware Macduff. But he's told, none of woman born shall kill Macbeth. He's like, wait a minute, then why do I need to worry about Macduff? But it's gonna be interesting. All right, so we're moving on. Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted lot fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. Well, then I don't need to kill Macduff. I have no reason to fear him. But even so, I'll whack him anyway, and I'll guarantee I'll you know what? Why take a chance? Third apparition, a crowned child with a tree in his hand. What is this? What rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty? Listen, but speak not to it. Be lion mettled, proud, and take no care. Who chafes, who frets, who where conspirers are. Yeah, you gotta be brave. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsany Hill shall come against him. Well, there it is. Okay. None of woman beware Macduff, but none of woman born shall kill Macbeth. Well, geez, everybody's born of woman, right? I mean, we could get technical there, but right. So, and then Macbeth decides to go ahead and whack him anyway, and then he's told that Macbeth shall never be vanquished until Burnham Wood come to Dunsany. The heck is that? Trees can't move. So Macbeth thinks, well, I'm good then. That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree, and fix his earthbound route? Have a cup of coffee. It's early. Cough into my arm. I'm fine. I just get allergies this time of year. Or, Jesus Christ, I hope. Ooh, bad words. District overlords. Don't come down on me. All right, so seek to know no more. I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse. Okay, fine. And an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know why sinks that cauldron, and what noise is this? Hot boys. What is a hot boy? Jeez, I'll get on the Google machine. All right, look. Stuff like that shows up. And you see stuff like that. Look, the plot does not turn on your knowledge of hot boys. Basically, a guy showing up playing music in a ceremonial profession are showing up. Why they're called hot boys, I don't know. What they're like, e-boys, e-girls, I don't know. But kids see those words and they go, oh, what's a hot boy? Oh, I don't know the play now. But you know what? You know all these other words. Focus with Shakespeare. Focus on the words you know. So he's like, all right, stop bugging us, Macbeth. That's what the witches are saying in Act 4, Scene 1. Jeez, there it is again. I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know why sinks that cauldron, and what noise is this? I demand to be satisfied. I will curse you. And why is there music playing? And the witches relent. Show. Show his eyes and grieve his heart. A show of 8 kings with the last with a glass in his hand, followed by Banquo. Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair. Thou other golded. So remember, Banquo was not going to be king, but he was going to get kings. And so basically he sees a line of kings for Banquo's future. Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other gold-brown bow is like the first, a third is like the former. Filthy hags! Why do you show me this? A fourth? Start, eyes! What, will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another, yet a seventh, I'll see no more. And yet the 8th appears, who bears a glass, which shows me many more. So it's that thing where you look in the mirror, and then it's like mirror, 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 and you see just a bunch of kings. So Banquo did establish a line of kings historically that went all the way to Shakespeare's day. So he knows he's got to kill Banquo now. But he's already killed Banquo at this point, and he's wondering what the hell is going on. You look too much like the ghost of Banquo. Go away! I mean, I've already killed him. Why are you showing me this? Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his spirits, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air and to give a sound, while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say our duties did his welcome pay. So they disappear. They out. Alright, so Lennox shows up, and what's your grace's will? Saw you the weird sisters? No, my lord, I don't see anybody. Came they not by you? No, indeed, my lord. Infected by the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was it came by? 'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff is fled to England. Fled to England? Ay, my good lord. Time thou anticipatest my dread exploits. So here we go. Here we go. Now we're getting to the big job. We're getting to the soliloquy I want you to focus on. If you're following along, if you're in fact in Act 4, Scene 1. So we're gonna go here. Remember what's immediately before, what's immediately after, what's the meaning. So we've taken care of immediately before, and we're gonna work on meaning, important quote, psychological state, and audience reaction. Can I do the thing where I make it big? Up, up. Yeah, that is so much better. Oh, come on, get over here. Get over here. All right, here we go. So we're gonna focus on these questions right now. Meaning, most important quote, psychological state, audience reaction, and then we'll talk about immediately after. So we go over here to this tab right here. So we're going to look at this. We're going to walk through this. So remember we're looking at meaning, and if you've got your hand out, you can pause the video at this point and you can get your hand out and you can work with me if you want. We're working with meaning, most important quote, and then we're looking. Oh, I'm gonna blow it. PSY psycho. Is that right? Logical. Is that right? It looks right. We're looking at psychological state. What's the other one we wanted? Audience reaction. That's the one we wanted. Audience reaction. Because we've already talked about what happened right before. Is my big fat face in the way? My big fat face. Can I move that? Up. I can move that. All right, so audience reaction. And then, so we talked about, now in my acting students will remember this moment before. And then moment after. So that's what we're looking at here. So we know he saw the witches. We know that. They told him stuff. And then we're going to talk about what happens right after. And then we're going to talk about what all this means. This particular soliloquy. Most important quote, psychological state and audience reaction. That's what we're going to be looking at. All right, so anyway, here we go. Here we go. Itchy beard. Itchy beard. All right. So first of all, let's look at this. We're going to walk through this. And one of the things I do, and this is mainly for my acting students, is scansion is so important for an actor in terms of how to read this speech. So you mark your text. Time thou anticipatest. Anticipatest my dread exploits. So, time. Thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is or took unless the deed go with it. Remember, that is enjammed. We already talked about that. But I can't emphasize that enough. Time. Thou anticipatest my dread exploits. I'm running out of time. This is not good. Unless the deed go with it. The flighty purpose never is overtook unless the deed go with it. So my purpose has got to match my deed. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. I'm not going to hesitate anymore. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife. Now Fife, that's where Macduff lives. He lives in Fife. That's like on the way to Tacoma. He's gonna go to Fife, and he's on the way to Tacoma, and he's gonna stop in Fife and kill Macduff. Seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. That's some pretty gangster stuff to be saying. So he's going to seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. He's basically saying, I ain't playing anymore. I'm going to go after Macduff, I'm going to kill him, and I'm going to kill everybody in his castle. So what's interesting, if you trace through the soliloquies, you can kind of track how Macbeth falls apart. So when he starts, he's like, oh, this is some good information. Yeah, okay. All right, maybe I could do that. And then he's thinking about it. Well, if I'm going to do it, I better do it quickly. I better get on that. And then he gets here, and he's seeing stuff. Is this a dagger which I see before me? Oh, wow, I'm seeing some weird stuff. I don't know if I ought to be doing this. But then he does it. He does it. And he becomes king, but now he's getting in too deep. And he's gone from being reasonable and pausing to think about what he's going to do. Now he's going full out. He's not going to think about it anymore. He's just going to go for it. And if you're looking at an important quote, here it is. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. So now, notice the antithesis, my acting students, my advanced drama students. The very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. All right, hey, we got a lit term. His wife, his babes. What's the lit term? His wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls. His wife, his babes. I'll wait. Calling on somebody out there. It is no, it's not that. No. It's alliteration. All right, now why does that matter? Because anytime you see a rhetorical device used in a speech, that's basically telling us what's going on. That's telling us how important it is. This is an important step for Macbeth, because up till now, he's killed kings, he's killed Banquo, he's not gone after their families. Now he's going after his enemies' families. So his psychological state, he is he's wacko. He's wacko. He's gone over the edge. And how might the audience take this in? So we've talked about important quote. We've talked about meaning. He's not going to pause. know if this is helpful to you guys at all. I really don't. I don't even know who's going to watch this. This video is getting kind of long, but hey, I'm learning. All right, so we're all learning, I hope. All right, so now he's going to start killing innocent people. He's going to go after the families of his enemies. The audience reaction, whoa. Whoa. That escalated. He's going to go, and he's got to do it. He's got to go after the family because he can't have the family coming back after him. That's classic gangster stuff. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool. Meaning, I'm going to do it before I'm not going to think about it anymore. But no more. Sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are. Come, bring me where they are. What's next? We're going to talk about what's next now. Because if we go here, where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are. So, but no more spooky visions. Where are the messengers? Come, bring. I'm going to go find my messengers. And then what happens directly after? Oh, man. Lady Macduff and her son and Ross. So Ross, that's the Thane of Ross. Remember, Thane is like a governor or a duke or a lord of an area. And then so right afterwards, he's going to go find his gentleman, and then we cut to Lady Macduff's house. And what had he done to make him fly the land? So remember, Macduff fled to England. He left his wife and kid. He had, you must have patience, madam. He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors. You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear. Hey, look, you don't know that, honey. All right, wisdom, to leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom, where the flight so runs against all reason. Why did Macduff go to England? Why did he leave us? And you look over here; it's pretty much the same. See, wait. Get my up. I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna keep that in there. Up. Move it over a little bit. All right. So anyway, so now I got to bring this. Like I said, I am learning. Am I half on? I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna look. What the hell's going on there? Well, you just got to bear with me. All right. So anyway, remember Macbeth says no more screwing around, and then, she's talking about her son. And fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless. I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once. Look, I gotta go. If I stay longer, I'll embarrass you and disgrace myself by crying. I'm leaving now. Look, it's so sad that Macduff had to split. And then she's talking to her son. Sirrah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live? As birds do, mother. What, with worms and flies? With what I get, I mean. And so do they. I'll go on. Poor bird, thou'dst never the net, nor lime, the pitfall, nor the gin. So what is this scene doing here? We've got this lovely scene where Lady Macduff is talking to her son about Macduff, who's fled to England. Remember, he's gone to England to get support to take down Macbeth. That's what's really going on. And Macduff, well, actually, everybody knew Macbeth was a pretty savage warrior, but everybody assumed that Macbeth still had some scruples, that he still had a code. that he wasn't going to go after people's families. What they don't know is that Macbeth is coming for their family. And so what happens directly after is this scene where they're talking about Macduff and her son, and then you got this whole scene where eventually we scroll down. Well, where is he, poor prattler? Oh, thou talkest. And then a messenger shows up. Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence with your little ones to fright you. Thus, methinks I am too savage to do worse to you were fell cruelty. You need to get out. You need to get out of here. Whither should I fly? I've done no harm. But I remember now I am in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometimes accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense to say I have done no harm? Look, he's not going to come for me. I've done no harm. Well, here comes the murderers. Where is your husband? I hope in no place so unsanctified, where such as thou mayest find him. He's a traitor. Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain. The son is going to throw himself at the murderer. Young fry of treachery stabs. What, you egg? Young fry of treachery, calls him a young egg. And the murderer kills the kid. This is very unHayes code. He has killed me, mother. Run away, I pray you. He dies. Exit Lady Macduff crying, murderers, murderers! Well, you can guess that she dies off stage. That's essentially what happens. So, what happens directly, what's the moment directly after? He sends for messengers, and then he goes after Dycus. He goes after Lady Macduff. So basically in this speech, he says he's going to do it, and then he goes and does it. And you can really see how Macbeth has his psychological state. He has totally melted down. Now, there's a lot we don't know about Macbeth. We don't know where he's from. We don't know his origin. We just know that he's a pretty strong warrior. And as I hinted at, the Australian production hints that Macbeth, there's hints that they had children at one time, but they don't anymore. So that could be an excuse as to why Macbeth is this whacked. But yeah, anyway, that is how you would mark that text up, by tracking these things. So you get the copy of the play open. So this is a pretty good. All I did was Google Macbeth. I Googled Macbeth full text, and I got this nice little PDF, totally free. Free is important right now. And I found, what I did is I went for the soliloquy, and I located it in the text. I read, and I had the No Fear side by side to kind of help me see what's going on to answer these essential questions. I will create another assignment and turn. I'm not talking to you, Google. I'm not talking to you. All right, so anyway, I'm going to create another assignment in. Oh, Google thought I was asking for text. I'm not. So anyway, I'm going to create another assignment and turn it in for Soliloquy 5 because we've encountered it now. And don't just copy down what I wrote. What are your thoughts on what's going on? Is there stuff I've missed? Also, you can respond at Dycus11 on Twitter if there's things that you noticed about this speech that I may have missed, or your thoughts on his psychological state. I pretty much did all the work for you because I don't really know how to teach this way other than to just walk through the speech and mark it up. And maybe Maybe what you can do is mark it up with me as you go. That might be what you do. And if you're an acting student, you might pay attention to how I read it, how I observe the punctuation, how I carry the message down to the next line with the end-jammed line, how I kick the box. You might notice that how I do those things. And so the speech would read like this. After I've marked the text, I'm now ready to act it out if you're in my advanced drama class. And so it might read like this. Time. Thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. So thoughts and acts. Thoughts and acts. That's antithesis. To crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise. Seize upon Fife. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. Now notice that I hit fool, souls, sword, surprise, done. I kick the box. To crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise. Seize upon Fife. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. Kick the box on those final words. Because when you do that, that's when the language comes alive. That's when you can really start to hear what's going on and get the gist of what's going on. Well, anyway, we're going to wrap it up because this video is probably way too long at this point. And today we looked at soliloquy number 5, Act 4, Scene 1. And next video, we'll be looking at soliloquy 6, and then finally 7. We'll look at 6 and 7 together because those are short. And I also plan on dropping a video on how to write about this stuff. So a typical prompt might be, how does Shakespeare use literary techniques to characterize Macbeth mental state. So that might be the prompt. How does Shakespeare use lit techniques to characterize Macbeth's mental state? So remember, lit techniques are different than literary elements. Literary elements are character, setting, plot. Elements of literature are unavoidable. Techniques are devices, strategies, figures of speech. And if you look, there's all kinds of great stuff in here that tells you what's going on in his head. I mean, you can analyze the diction, you can analyze the antithesis, the end-jammed lines tell you that these thoughts are just pouring out of him. So which gives credence that he's wacko. He's wacko. But remember, your thesis statement, a good thesis statement, and if you're in AP seminar, remember a good thesis statement, applies to literature and seminar, is there's what you are pushing against. Did I misspell that? Against. That looks right to me. Maybe it is. What are you pushing against? What is your thought? So if you're writing about this, what's the idea we're pushing against? The idea we're pushing against is that Macbeth is cold and calculating, but he's not. He still has honor. He still has some honor. While many believe Macbeth is honorable, in reality, at this stage of the play, his acts have driven him mad. And that's where you start to get a theme. The theme is what happens to a good man that does bad things. And as the deeper he gets into it, the more violent he becomes, his mental state starts to deteriorate. So that starts to give you an idea of what is the playwright, in this case Shakespeare, saying about ambition. Because remember, a theme, there's theme, and then there's a theme statement. What Dickens and I are always after is what is the theme statement? What is the author saying about that topic? What is the author saying about ambition? And I mean, it's pretty clear if you look at these soliloquies. Even if you look at the soliloquies out of context, you don't read the play, you can see that the deeper he gets into this, the more his mind deteriorates. So one could say ambition, while needed to succeed in life, becomes all-consuming and eventually drives the person mad. Notice that I have my qualifying clause. Notice that I'm talking about the effect. What does this do? What does this do to the person? And in fact, what is said about humanity? So when it comes to humanity, we live, or actually no, I screw that up. We're born, we live, we die. So here Shakespeare's talking about living, how we live. And if we live a life of ambition and just chasing after what we want, the effects can be devastating. And there we are. So remember, good thesis statements, good strong, complex thesis statements, and you want to have always, doesn't matter if you're in seminar or lit, we always want to have good reasons. So we got a thesis plus 3. So, why we think what we think. Because this eventually lays out your paper when you start to try to analyze how the author, you're either analyzing how the author characterizes Macbeth, or you're arguing about how ambition affects a person. Either way, it's a good approach to. It's always a good approach to come back to this. The thesis plus 3. All right, what am I thinking? 3 reasons why I think that's true. That way, when you go into the text, you can look for evidence to fill in to back up your reasons, and that's how you establish a line of reasoning in the text. Right. Well, I hope this video is helpful to some. I hope kids out there got something out of it. A lot of it's stuff I've already talked about. At this stage of the year, I'm really not teaching you anything new anyway. We're practicing what I've already taught you. And maybe these videos are more for me right now than for you. So I just want to feel normal. I just want to feel like I'm still doing my job. Do email or text if you've got an idea for a future video, what you'd like me to demonstrate or walk through. Tomorrow I might do just a seminar video on how to tackle that individual written argument, and there we are. All right, we're gonna stop now because this thing has gone on forever. Cheers. I will see you all on the other side. We're going to stop recording.